Hello everyone, hello lovelies, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video will be on this gown. In fact, I do not even know how to title the video of this gown, but whatever that, however, please do well to watch my videos to the end and subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Give me a thumbs up if you find value in this video, and please watch my ads and let's get into the video. So the first thing we are going to be doing is to cut out our bodice, which is the base of this gown. Most times is the base, is the foundation of most styles. So let's go ahead and cut out the bodice of this gown. So whatever you're going to be folding will be enough for your bust measurement divided by 4 plus your stitching allowance. So because my fabric is not straight, we are going to be marking a straight line for our starting point, and then from that straight line, remember this is an off shoulder. If you look at the style very well, you will see that it's an off shoulder. So for that, I'm taking out 5 inches from the total measurement, and then I'll go ahead and mark my half length, my half length plus 1 inch stitching allowance. Once I am done with this, we're going to go ahead and work on our neckline. And for this neckline, I do not want it to be off the shoulder, so we are going to be making it, I marked my shoulder measurement, though we are not going to be working with it, but let's just mark it. And then I'm going to go ahead and mark my armhole depth, and still placing my tape at that 5 inches. I mark my armhole depth at 4 inches. Then I'm going to go ahead and connect this line across. So I was talking about our neckline, and we're going to go ahead and mark it. But before then, I noticed that my lines are not straight, so I went ahead to straighten them because of the way I am standing while making this tutorial. That's why sometimes it looks as if my lines are bent, so I'll just cancel out the old one so that we are not confused on what we are doing. So for my neckline that I keep mentioning, this neckline, all you have to we are marking you now, I am marking at 4 inches. This depends on how big your child is or how open you want your neckline to be. Then from there, from my armhole depth, I'm going to add my bust measurement divided by 4 plus 1 inch stitching allowance. So I decided to increase my neckline to 5 inches. Then I'll go ahead and make a curve to make the bust point. Please just stay well and listen to the video well, you understand all I am saying. Then for my waist measurement divided by 4, I made a mark there, and then I added 1 inch stitching allowance. I'll go ahead and connect this line straight. I just hope this is well explained, because I keep remarking. I'm sorry about that for it today. I just made some changes, so I'll go ahead and cut this out. Then I went ahead to cut out my lining pieces for my front bodies before I'll go ahead and use it to cut out my back body. If you haven't subscribed up to this moment, please take 1 minute to hit on the subscribe button, join the family. To my old subscribers, I say thank you very much for all your support. So for my zipper allowance, I have 1.5 inches for it. As you can see, I am making sure that I have 1.5 inches. Then I'll go ahead and hold my pieces together. Once I am done with that, for my neckline, back neckline, I don't want it to be the same with my front one, so I'm going down by 1 inch for it. You can see the way I connected my neckline. Whatever you do, whether you V curve or curvy curve, whatever, just make sure your neckline is connected in a straight form so that you don't find it difficult while attaching your zipper. I just hope you understand. Then I marked my neckline. Then I'll go ahead and connect these 2 points. Once I am done with that, I'll go ahead and then start cutting out every other part of this style of this, should I call it off shoulder? Okay, it's safe to call. So this is it. After I was done, I've cut out my lining pieces for all my pieces. Then I also cut out a strap for my sleeve. So this strap is folded into 2.5 2.5 inches for it. By the time you open it up, you have 5 inches. So we are going to go ahead, and we have 2 of it, one for each sleeve. I'll fold it into 2 and then stitch it down up by 1/2 inch. So for the length of this strap, remember we took out 5 inches for it, so 5 inches into 2 is 10, and then plus 1 inch stitching allowance. So onto our flay. I've already folded my fabric, and it's a long fabric, that's why I couldn't fold it on the camera. So you're going to be folding towards from the long side of your fabric. You're going to fold it into this way, into a triangular form, which I have done on mine. I wanted to cut it in one full flay, but it's not enough. It won't get to the length I wanted, so that's why I'm cutting into 2. So I'll go ahead and make a rough estimate of where my waistline is going to fall into, plus stitching allowance, and then plus some allowance for plating, and it fell at 12.5 inches. So I'll go ahead and make a mark with 12.5 inches all around. Once I am done, remember our half length is 13 inches, so I'll place my tape on at 13 inches, and then I'll go ahead and mark the full length of my gown plus my stitching allowance. And for the full length, my full length is 35 inches, and then I added 1 inch stitching allowance. I don't need much for this, so that's why I added 1 inch. So as you are moving your tape at the lower side, just make sure you move your tape at the upper side as well. I marked it all around, and then I'll go ahead and cut it out. The reason why I didn't include the tutorial is, as I was marking, my hand was blocking the camera, so it is of no use. Then I used that same pattern to cut out the next one, which I added 1.5 inches stitching allowance for my zipper. So I'll go ahead and hold these 2 on one edge and stitch it down, so that I'll have just one full flay of fabric. So for our strap, I'm done stitching it on by 1/2 inch. So I'll use my scissors. Please do well, if you are doing this method, make sure that you don't cut through your fabric. So I'll use my scissors to hold it and then pull over the scissors. So for my bodice, I am done, just like I said earlier, cutting out my lining pieces for it. Then I'll bring in my strap. Make sure you have about 1/2 inch away from the beginning of the body, so that you'll be able to stitch it down. And I'll do the same thing for the other side. I'll pin it down, leaving about 1/2 inch away from the armhole side. Then I'll use my lining to cover it up, and then I'll stitch from the armhole all the way to the neckline, and then to the other side. So this is it. After I was done, I'll go ahead and cut out all the excesses around this, especially at that pointed area that you see me cutting out, so that it's not bulky there, it doesn't have any bulge. Once I am done with that, I'll turn it to the right side and then pull it out. So this is what we have after pulling it out. If you have light at this point, please do it to iron your pieces. But let's continue. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is to bring in my back bodice, and then I'll be doing front facing front first. I'll place it at the front side of my front bodice. Sorry for the shaking of the camera, my baby is at the tripod stand. So I'll place it front facing front. Then I'll bring down the sleeve strap. You can see the way I raised up the back bodice and then place it together. Please do well to do the same thing. I don't know how else to explain this, just look at the video, you will understand it. And then I'll pin it down. The reason for doing it this way is so that by the time I am done stitching, I still have the front side of my bodice facing the front of the front bodice facing the front side of my back bodice. You don't want to have it the other way around and start losing it. So I'll use my lining and then cover it up and do the same thing for the other side. Once I am done, just like we did for the front one, I'm going to cut out any excesses and then any thing that will cause bulge at the armhole side. So this is what we have after I am done. Just like I mentioned, please do it to iron if you have means of ironing. So I'm going to go ahead and stitch on the seam side. You can do your inseam finishing, inseam stitching, or you can just place front to front and stitch it down. So to do your inseam finishing, all you have to do is to pick up your piece, open it up, pick up the front one, place your two seam line together, your two seam armhole line together, and then you're going to open it up and then stitch by 1 inch or whichever allowance that you added all the way down. If you have been following my channel, you must have seen me do this a lot. So this is what we have, and I use my pin to hold down my zipper allowance, and then I'll go ahead and turn this to the right side. Once I turn it to the right side, this is what we are going to be having. So let's work on that structure sleeve that you guys saw. So I place this on a pattern paper so that I'll be able to cut it out. Then I'm going to go ahead and measure the front bodies. Whatever I have there, I'll divide it into two. By the time I measured it, I have about 15 inches. So I'll mark at 7.5 inches, which is the center. Then from that 7.5 inches, I'll go ahead and mark 6 inches. I'll make a point there. And once I am done with that, I said to just pin this down because I don't want to be working on this fabric or the paper. It keep moving, it's going to make my measurements wrong. So I'll just place on this pin on the side I am working on. Once I am done with that, I'm going to go ahead from the sleeve. You're going to go out by 1 inch or ½ inch, but just make sure you are not on the sleeve. And before you mark this, make sure you arrange your sleeve well. You see that mine is not standing up, so by the time I was done, I noticed this and I remarked. So I'll mark 1 inch and then I'll mark the line straight, and from that 1 inch I'll measure 8 inches, and as God may have it, my pattern paper is exactly 8 inches, so I'll make a mark there. So I said to go up by ½ inch away from the sleeve so that it's not struggling at that area. Once I am done with this, I'll take out my pin, and then from that shoulder side, I'll slant my line to meet the center line that we marked, and then coming from the 8 inches, we're going to connect to the 6 inches as well. And if you look at the style, you can see that this side I just marked is not straight, so I'll go ahead and use my free hand to make a little curve there not to make it straight. And once I am done with this, from the center line we marked, I am going in by 2.5 inches. And then from the upper side, I'm going to mark 1 inch, and then I'll connect these 2 points together. Once I'm done with this, I'll go ahead and then cut this out. So this is what we have. I've gone ahead to cut out my pieces for it. So the smaller one is for the black, and then the other one is for the main fabric, and the shoulder place is supposed to be folded so that by the time you open it up, you have this. And remember to cut out your lining pieces as well, either before you separate this or the same way this one is. So the side that is more straight is what you're going to be placing together, and then I'll stitch it by ½ inch. Remember, front facing front, and I'll open up the other side as well. The one that is more straight, remember, one is more curvy. I'll place it front facing front this way, and then I'll go ahead and stitch it down from one end to the other. So this is what we have after I was done stitching it down. I'm just holding it with pin, that's why it seems stuck on one another. So this is what I'll be using. This first one is collar stay. You can see is a thick collar stay. That's what I wanted to use so that it can be able to stand, and not only standing today, but stand as long as possible. But as I noticed, it won't be enough for the 2 sleeve, so So I'll just do half of it and then use this hard gum stay to complete the other side. I just hope it works, finger crossed. So this is what we have after I was done gumming it. Just like I mentioned, I use the collar stay at the center, and then the lower side is the other gum stay. So this is my lining pieces. Just like I mentioned earlier, you can use one color of the lining pieces, or you can just do black on your fabric, just like I did you did on the main fabric. So I'll turn it to the right side, and then I'll go ahead and do front facing front. I will stitch on both sides all the way from one end to the other, and I'll repeat the same process for the other sleeve or the other cape or the other structured whatever. I don't know what to call it. So once I was done, I ironed it out and then turned it to the right side. You can see the other side is a bit wobbling. That's because it's not as strong as the collar stay. So this is what we have. I folded into together as well, and I ironed everything out. So we're going to bring in our bodice, and once we bring it in, we are taking out all the pins that is holding the zipper allowance. Then I'll go ahead and open it up. Once I open this up, I'm going to go ahead and find the midpoint of the center front, and then I'll make a notch there. Once I make a notch there, I'll pick up one of my sleeve. Remember, the black side is supposed to be at the center, and then the curve side is supposed to be towards the outer shoulder. So I'll pin it down and then bring in the other sleeve as well. You can see the way I am placing, making sure that both of them matches each other. You don't want to have a space there at all. So once I am done with it, this is what we have. I'll go ahead and stitch it down. Then I'll turn it to the other side for the back, so that will work on the back. And then for the back as well, all you have to do is to measure your zipper allowance. Then from your zipper allowance, you're going to go ahead and place this just like we placed our front one. The only difference is that you're going to measure out your zipper allowance, and then you're going to stitch it down, and do the same process for the other side. So this is what we have after we are done with it. So the next thing I'm going to do is to bring in my flare, and then I'll go ahead and open it up and do front facing front. We are going to be stitching from one end to the other, and remember we have excess, so by the time you are stitching, please do where to stitch in your excess, to fold in your excess. And once you are done, you're going to go ahead and hem this all the way around. So this is what we have after we are done with all the things we are supposed to do, and our gown is coming together. I hope you are finding value in this video. So this is it, and also I'm done hemming this as well. And this is the back. You can see our zipper allowance is still open. I'm thinking of tacking the cape to the sleeve or to the other bodies to keep it in place. I don't know. What do you guys think? Is it a good idea, or I should just leave it? So I'll just close up the zipper allowance and then attach my zipper. Oh my goodness, that's all for this time. I'm already tired of this voiceover. I'm exhausted. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate for staying with me to this point. If you find value on this video, do where to hit on the subscribe button to give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and I will see you in my next video. Thank you so much for watching.